Glad we're starting laughing. That's always good. Our guest is late or not showing up. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ask Mrs. Ryan. What's up, Mrs. Ryan?
Hi there.
Where's our guest?
Who knows?
Oh, well, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a show either way.
That's exciting.
I'm
looking forward to it.
Oh, you are? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that's good. She's looking forward to it. I'm gonna go to the studio, continue setting up. We were past our time, so I figured I would check in. You haven't been in the studio this way in a long time, probably. Yeah. It's... yeah. God, that looks crazy. I'm just doing it. Hi, Kate. Hi, producer Kate. It's so funny. It's crazy. We live here. This is nuts. That's a blast from the past.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Verbatim.
It is quite a blast from the past. Quite a blast from the past. Hello, Mrs. Ryan.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking as I get us situated over here.
Oh, I left my sweatshirt on.
Put all my junk away. What's that?
I left my sweatshirt on. I forgot.
Oh, good for you. John Benton. Benton Performance.
I'm so glad.
Well, we spent some time with them this weekend, so maybe that was appropriate.
Yes. I loved that we got to see them. I'll tell you all about it later.
Oh, wow. Okay. What does that mean?
I just realized we hadn't done the date or anything.
Oh, I see.
Like,
Oh, look at you. Okay, so you're keeping us on track. I appreciate that. There are some, you know what? I tried something different over here and already it's throwing me off, so I'm going back immediately. I will try that on another day. There we go. Did that. Now we'll try. There, okay. Whew. As the helicopters go over. Is the president in town or
welcome.
Just a random flyover? Thank you for keeping us on the train, the tracks, blah, 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 Mrs. Ryan. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. December 4th is the day after December 3rd, which happens to be...
my birthday.
Mrs. Ryan's birthday. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans, and this is It's Tonight's Show.
With a flourish.
What was the name of it's CSI Miami, but Horatio, it was, what's his face, used to yank his glasses off all the time. I'm not the only one making fun of him for it, but he was known for it. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't watch that show.
Oh, right, yeah. All right, well, he started the other one you didn't watch, and that's not going to help us. NYPD Blue, who started, David Caruso is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
He used to whip those fuckers off. Mrs. Ryan, we've got a ton of stuff to get to, and then no guests, so I think that we're in good shape today. So
Great.
No reason to rush, no reason to go slow. Stretch. There's a word for that. May as well use it.
Which word?
Stretch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Although it sort of feels like we needed to, the way I'm handling it at the moment. Mrs. Ryan, we should probably talk about the weekend, your birthday. Let's see. I'll start off with Friday. We went to Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. No surprise. And it was, I don't want to start anything, but it was very nice weather despite mixed forecasts. And it was a nice group. I had a couple really nice conversations with people I didn't know previously. And I'm not speaking of anything in particular, but it was nice seeing some new faces. Yeah.
I talked with a bunch of random, it seemed random because they're not normal to me, but
it felt random after the previous one especially, which was like, a huge group of family. Mm-hmm. And this is, more like it usually is, like it's the Goonies.
Yeah,
which is what we love about it.
Different kind of family, which is awesome.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super neat.
We have a video for that, but I just did the weekend instead of the Breakfast Club. I just kind of lopped it into both. So Saturday we took off, and Sunday, though, we went to Lisa Taylor's holiday party, flying El Ranch, really, is where it is.
Yeah.
Thank you to Lisa and Tom for having us, and thank you to Bruce Brown, obviously, for having us and facilitating our arrival and our wonderful parking spot up front. And almost seemed like a mistake, like we were not supposed to be up there with our groupers and the brand new beautiful cars that were sponsored, etc. But it was very nice to be there, and it was wonderful to see so many of our friends in one place at a non-event. And I hate to say that because I love going to events, but a lot of times it's kind of like you're doing your thing and it's work. This was somehow, it was a little bit different. And it was everyone was cutting loose. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, it felt social and just no agendas.
All of us who are normally working at all these types of events, whether it's facilitating the event or shaking hands or seeing people or signing things or whatever it happens to be, all of those people were there, but everybody was off the clock. Yeah, that's how it felt.
Totally.
It was the office Christmas party.
Totally. Totally. It was a great Christmas party.
All right, so we've got a video for that, Mrs. Ryan. May as well just pop on over to it. And once I find it, of course. I buried stuff. I tried something new, and then I ended up making it more complicated. You know what I mean? Trying to make it more simple, and that one didn't work. But I did find it. So, I mean, Hal found it. Thank you, Hal. Roll that for us now, would you, Hal?
That was the coolest video.
Aw, thanks, Mrs. Ryan.
Relive all of it. It was really great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's where the memory, I mean, that was the intention for all of this stuff, to keep the memories so that we had a play.
Good job.
That was the original intent.
Well
if you
done.
recall back when we started all of this stuff here.
I do. It was such a neat feeling. You're right. That party was so nice because it was so chill and calm, and like there was so many people there that I totally forgot, like Chuck and
no agendas, just everybody being with each other.
Yeah, it was super nice. So thanks again, Lisa. That was
awesome.
Terrific.
All right, so that's that, Mrs. Ryan. That's a bit of hellos. Oh, you know what? We talked about it the other day, but I don't think I had the picture loaded in. We were talking about the Telefunken bus at the auto show. Here's one of the pictures somebody sent me. I mean, there's a million pictures of this since. In fact, Johnny Cabiglia, who we had lunch with the other day at that party, posted one as well, saying one of his favorites from the whole auto show.
Oh,
but
cool.
Isn't that beautiful? We're talking right next to the whatever the new panel van or the new,
That's
concept.
awesome.
I think it's pretty cool.
I
I'm pretty
love
excited
it.
to be affiliated in any way with a company like this that's doing so many things that I like and love.
Yeah, I mean, I won't jump into it until Tony gets here. But like, there's been a couple moments lately where like we've seen the name and you've seen pointed out the microphone and like in really cool spots.
Or how about that it's finally, I think, becoming the right time to be doing what he's doing, because we'll talk to even James Gambit the other day. He's like, I'm waiting for someone to do blah, blah, blah the right way. And I say, man, are you talking to the right guy? Because I'm going to introduce you to the guy who's actually doing it the right way, etc. And we'll figure out what all of that has to do with Telefunken and Tony Fishman and
I can't wait.
Porsche and all of the above. But anyway, moving on, Mrs. Ryan, moving on. Weekend video. I think we should go to the East Coast feed. I think we should check in with
East
Kaz.
Coast feed.
Well, there is. There's a couple. There was one I was holding because we didn't end up doing a show the other day, so we have to do that one anyway. And then there's one after. And I think if played in order, it might actually open up how we feel about things. How's that?
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to
Is
know.
that fit? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I think people at home know what we're saying too.
Let's go on this ride.
Yeah, there you go. Very well put. So let's check in with the East Coast feed now. The original, the OG. Danbury Chive, Steve Kaz, Ridgefield BMW. Roll it out.
East Coast feed coming to you live from the sauna because it's fucking cold outside. So jumped in the sauna. Brooke and I were watching a couple of the last podcasts. Awesome, as always. Love the guests. All right, so story time. Let's do story time. I was going to save it for like when we got out there in a couple months, but whatever. Let's do it live. Yeah, so you know how Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, he has to keep doing life over and over again until he finally gets it right, and how my track record with relationships sucks because I'm not good at it, and I fuck things up eventually. Well, I finally found someone that I got it right with, and I'm going to stay right with, and she's awesome, and she works with me. What else? I don't know, just a lot of good things. She's great with Coraline. That's all that really matters to me in life, and she takes care of me. So that's who she is. You're going to meet her shortly when we take a quick trip to LA, when we get our finances up, and we're good. Love you guys. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Later.
Hard to find fault with what he's saying there.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I can't say anything to that.
Well, I mean, it's familiar. But man, I'm so on board with whatever. I want to support my friend.
Yes.
And I love that he said she's great with Coraline, and that's all that matters, because that's a guy who's...
Priorities are in place.
Thank you very much for knowing what I mean. So with that, let's check over to the most recent Danbury Chive East Coast feed with Steve Kaz. Roll it, Hal.
Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, we are here at the East Coast feed, coming to you live from the Norfolk Pizza. So apparently, Coraline needed to hand me a French fry and wings.
Double fisted chicken tenders?
Double fisted the chicken tenders at the Three Brothers Diner here in the Milford.
French fry?
Did you want a French fry, Coraline? I love my child. This is the East Coast feed, coming to you live from the Three Brothers Batman Diner in the Milford on Route 7. And look, more fries for Daddy. Say hi to Brooke and Uncle Mike.
Hi.
Hello. Uncle Mike's wearing his Gotham City shirt. Bam, there it is. Brooke doesn't have any Batman gear yet. We'll work on that. But as you can see, the entire restaurant is decorated in Batman cool stuff. And Coraline's been enjoying her corn. You want to say hi to Jay and Nicole? She's not really talking to him tonight. She's really focused on eating. as you can see. Right, Jonesy? How about a French fry? I love having a child. Love you guys.
Oh my.
I love it though. You know?
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I like that the whole family's there together and the whole, you know.
It looked really nice.
Yeah. And if that was her giggling, I mean, it clearly does sound like a whole to-do, you know?
Yeah.
It sounds very imprinted already.
Yes.
I think that it's almost
easy.
like, this just happened behind the scenes and we just didn't know about it is all, which is different. Which is different.
You know what? And I'm going to take that as a positive. I'm going to.
That's what I meant.
What you meant. This is what married life is about. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, cool. I'll just say it again.
That brings us to viewer mail, Mrs. Ryan.
Viewer mail.
I know, we got a bunch of stuff. All right. Let's start with, we didn't mention it ahead of time, but we did see, I think we saw producer John's car. Yeah, the 993. But Der Fascination showed up at the Breakfast Club on Friday, and they brought our wonderful Gowden Classic friends, Michael and Esther.
Hi, guys.
And Michael, who runs Gowden Classic in Las Vegas, presented me, and of course in the proper two-handed manner, the Red Book, which is the latest.
The fourth one, right?
Yes, exactly right. Of the classic book series. I don't know, I wouldn't call it a catalog. I wouldn't call it a book, but it's an
Ends up being like an art book.
Collectible.
Yeah.
Porsche art collectible
cool.
for sure. Porsche Classic art collectible. Go ahead, use that, Ray Schaefer. It might not be there yet, but you can massage it into some gold. I'm sure of it. This is actually he gave us a bonus to give away as we pay things forward here, but there is already one on the set over there completing the Ray Schaefer set. He gave us what was the complete set at the time at Luftgekühlt. It was just the 3, and now the 4th one has come out. It is now in our set, and this will be given away at some point. We've actually got a whole bunch of stuff to give away to you guys, and we're trying to figure out exactly how to do that, whether it should be social media or whether it should be on the show, or we're trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, lucky viewer. I don't know. You know what I mean? We're not quite there yet. We're not there yet, but all of these things are in the works. We're amassing the swag box now.
Right.
You're amassing the swag box. I heard it. It sounded like a lot of things, but it wasn't anything but good. Let's see. In order here, we have this was cool. Just some stickers. Not even a note or anything, but from our friends at Wasserkult, they came up with a logo. They came up with stickers.
Oh, neat.
And they gave us a whole bunch of those, so we can give those out to people as well when we're seeing you at events. But that's pretty cool. We support them as well. They kind of, are sort of, Luftgekühlt was out, and then I think somebody kind of saw, oh, well, what about the water people? And they're starting something. Nice. And I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's not brand new. It's been going for a while, but I think it's very cool. So thanks, guys. Thanks
really need to be part of.
Yeah. Thanks for wanting to support us, etc., and vice versa. It's very cool.
Means a lot.
All right. That was my name tag from
we wore name
party
tags.
that somehow got here when I was opening the mail when we got home. That's how that works.
Oopsie daisy.
And this is yours, Mrs. Ryan. That was given to you at the party by Bruce Brown.
Me.
Now it's a Cars and Canvas shirt, a ladies' tee, which is nice because you're always saying not enough ladies' tees. But we should stop saying that, I guess. That you keep saying that because we have something in the works, perhaps with Esther from Gowden.
We've talked very briefly, but I think it could be cool.
All right. Well, back to this one. I guess Bruce was somehow involved in that event. He said this was our event downtown, and we almost went to it that day. Had we known that he was involved, we would have gone to it.
Yeah.
There was a handful of things that day, and we ended up doing like 2 other ones.
Oh, well,
do you remember it was like there was the Santa Anita racetrack thing?
Oh,
and
it was
then,
that day?
Mm-hmm, and there was the one up at the Beverly Glen we went to, and it was like a whole bunch of stuff all at the same. I think there was a Supercar Sunday at the same time. It was like all a bunch of stuff.
The car people, I love it.
And then this one is another total surprise, but I just thought so cool. And anybody who's ever ordered something from this guy knows what this box is immediately because he's just on point with the way he does things. What I mean by this is, in this case, he uses the specific checker tape, and his receipts or invoices or whatever are on like multi-point inspection checklist, but it's they're just handwritten notes, but
they're real. They're not like computer generated.
That's just the idea of it all, that it's this cool. So this was, like I said, not expected. Opened this the other day. And I think it's so cool because I don't even know who this is. It's Mr. Cups, we should say that. It's Mr. Cups on the social media. And he finds all sorts of vintage stuff. I don't know how he does it, if he's like a picker or a flea marketer, or if he just has ancestors who have left him all sorts of amazing vintage stuff. I don't know what the system is, but he puts it out there for the rest of us to buy this stuff. And this one is just so me, and it shows that he's got me. I don't even know if most people will know what this is, but if you do, you're really going to get it. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports. This is from way back in the day, certainly the 70s, maybe probably into the 80s, I would think. But it was a. I don't even want to get into it. It was a big, cool. Do you remember Battle of the Network Stars? Mm-hmm. You do? Okay, well, imagine the same kind of thing with the sports. It's not exactly the same, but imagine that same kind of a deal,
Yeah.
And I just think that's pretty cool. Anyway, so this vintage he had, I'm going to snap that all together, but it's like legit an old one. And just the whole broadcasting element and the old show and the cars and the Porsches, the whole thing is cool. They used to do racing and everything. Yeah. So that was
Very
just totally
cool.
unexpected, right up our alley, and totally appreciated. Thank you. Very, very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. And as far as I know, we don't have any affiliation with them. I think we went on a rally with them once.
Yeah.
But only because I recognized the car and the stickers. Like, I don't know that I don't think we know them. And I say them because I think it's a guy and a girl.
Okay.
If it's the people I'm thinking of. Anyway, Mr. Cups, you're awesome. Thank you.
We'll meet you soon, I hope.
All right. Yeah, just when things arrive, and that's what has been very cool about this whole. I mean, not just getting gifts. That's 'tis the season. No. Happy Hanukkah. No, but it's nice that this little bits of joy just unexpectedly pop into your life.
Show generosity is how I look at it. Like, it's so cool to be part of that system. I got my words together today.
I'm not gonna. Exactly. I'm not going to get involved. It sounds great. This is something I've been sitting on for a couple weeks, also because of time only. But I want to put it out there. Our friend Joe Maxwell, you've heard us talk about him and his car and his build, the Maxwell Mouse. He put together. He's a professional director of photography for a living. So I mean, like what he did, he's got an incredible eye and wonderful equipment, and he knows how to use all of it together. So he did his own little teaser video of his own car as it was like about to be released to the public. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So bringing everyone else up to speed, they did a private R group event one weekend a couple weeks ago, and then the first public event was that firefighter benefit at the airport in Santa Monica that we did. So that was actually the public unveiling, and we took pictures and we showed it on the show.
Of his car, of the rebuild he did, and kind of
exactly.
So this is like a trailer-ish kind of?
Hang on, I think this was the night before he posted this on social media, and you tripped me up there. I was saying something different, but anyway, we'll just roll it. No, nothing bad. We'll just roll it. And I'll just be oh, I didn't roll it. Oh. Jimmy found. Don't come in here.
The worst.
Hang on one second and check out Maxwell Mouse. Here we go. Maxwell Mouse. Roll it out.
Neat.
That's it. But I mean, that's it. The rest now you just see it everywhere. we know that he went through a lot, choosing colors, doing all the choices and everything else. Now that I see what he was going for, I mean, it's spectacular. It's beautiful. I don't think it matters. I don't think it would have mattered what color. I mean, for the name, of course it would have, but I don't think it would have mattered what color he chose because of what he ended up doing and how he ended up doing it and to what level the craftsmanship is, etc.
So high end. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Great job. Great job.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty. All right, Mrs. It's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind.
Da, 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 da.
What's going on, Mrs. Ryan?
Da, 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 da.
Oh my. Finished it off there.
Shit. This is some cool news I read today. I really. Some cool news I read today. When you were a kid, did you hear about the FDA testing on animals and like all that stuff?
Well, hang on, Mrs. Ryan. Did you ask this on purpose?
Yes.
Oh. Because you know that I do have a history?
No.
Oh.
Because I wanted to know.
All right. Well, of course I do, in that my next door neighbor growing up owned a company.
I forgot.
I grew up in Wilton, Connecticut, and it wasn't technically our next door neighbor. He was on our street, but he owned many homes on the street and all of the property behind the homes on the street. And his name was Leon Hirsch. I think he's since passed away, but he owned the company U.S. Surgical, which is still in business. And this guy invented the surgical staple and many, many other things. But in order to do so, I believe back in the 80s, they were testing on animals all over the place.
Probably.
And because of which there were tremendous amounts of not just, what do you call that? Life threats. What do you call that?
Death threats?
Yeah, thank you. Got it. Life threats. Yeah, there were not just countless death threats, but also attempts at his life, like pipe bombs blowing up at the office and stuff like that. And he lived on our. Well, I mean, I think he had 400 acres in our area, but we passed him and he waved all the time. I think we've talked about that on the show before. He was a great neighbor and a really cool guy. But anyway, yes, I was around it all of I was around the controversy of it my whole young adult life.
Okay, well, I know I remember that now, but I did forget your story. As a woman, we learned about with makeup and soaps and like what they would do to rabbits to like test a medical. Like
I think it is all the same.
I think it is the same too. Now, but at the time, like that was the focus. But anyway,
they're spraying shit. And you say, "Oh, did that irritate it? Did that irritate it more than the other one?" I mean, it's awful.
It is. It's pretty rough, and so that's why this news was cool to me because they're newly, for the first time, releasing squirrel monkeys that were bred to be tested for nicotine.
Squirrel monkey? What's a squirrel monkey? Let's start there.
It's a different kind of monkey. It's not a chimp.
But it is a monkey.
Yeah,
not a squirrel.
Correct.
I mean, that made sense, but otherwise it would have been a monkey squirrel. But I understand. I just want to make sure.
For some reason, these squirrel monkeys are big for nicotine studies, like what the effects of nicotine in the system is.
Why are they called squirrel monkeys by any chance? Is it because of their erratic behavior?
I believe so. There's a couple different.
But you know what I'm saying? If they're all then of course they're going to want some nicotine.
All right. Well, that's a really good point I hadn't thought of. But now that these nicotine tests are done, typically people don't know what happens to these animals after. Like,
oh, yeah.
So there's
in the movies, somebody gets adopted by the very beautiful lab assistant at the end.
That doesn't always happen, and so then the next line of thinking is like, oh, they get released into the wild, like they just get put back, and it's like,
but they're not equipped anymore, right?
No, and some of these were bred in the lab; they've never been in the wild, so they don't know like what banana leaves are, like what to eat, like.
Right.
So
where's
they
my
have to be. Right. So
fucking water source.
There's a whole new system that's being put into place to reintroduce them to like a habitat and like train them to be like, okay, there's no nicotine.
So that essentially will only be abducting them and then returning them versus taking them for, I mean, as above, so below. So think of aliens coming down to humans and like, I'm going to take you for experimentation purposes.
Yeah.
We need to know if our alien hair glue is going to work.
None of it's great, but this does seem to be a nicer way to do it.
Okay, cool.
So I was super stoked to hear that there is that positivity movement of like, okay.
I agree for that. Absolutely.
So I love that. Warmer waters, though, are changing sharks' brains.
Oh, Mrs. Ryan, you're doing that because of what we watched for your birthday.
No.
Oh, Mrs. Ryan's birthday is very close to Christmas. So we're already watching the Christmas movies, and one of Mrs. Ryan's favorite Christmas movies of all time is, of course, Jaws 4. Because Christmas.
And yeah, it is one of my favorites.
But the premise there of Jaws 4 is that the shark it comes down to warmer water down to the Bahamas.
Okay, here's where I'm going to pull the Ditz card and be like, I really genuinely forgot all of that. Because to me, it's just about Mario Peoples. And like yesterday was the one where he survived. And like, I never saw that one as a kid.
That's right. There's two different versions.
Happy birthday to me.
He such a good movie. It was received so well. They changed the ending for home release.
Which I did not know. But this article, okay, this is even funnier to me now. Warmer waters help evolve sharks' brains. Which, if they're looking at it the way our brains are, in that it's an energy-saving device to run parallel systems of thought, so like right brain, left brain, blah, blah, blah. Sharks didn't used to have that, but now that they're living more in warmer waters, they're finding that might be the cause.
I have to assume that people are seeing that sharks are evolving in general, right? I mean, there's been a lot more shark attacks, or at least we're aware of a lot more these days.
We're aware of a lot more, for sure. But here's the thing. I'm also going to go with a lot more people do water sports, and they're in the water than some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
It could go both ways. I'm with you. I think sharks are way smart.
I think if you zoom out, I mean, if you're looking only at sharks and the one thing, okay, yeah, oh, blah, blah, blah. But if you zoom out at the whole thing, nature hates us right now.
Yeah. I do think it's all.
It's all part of it.
It's all part of it. But
is the way I'm sitting bothering you? I tried it. I don't know how I feel about it myself. It was one of those, you said something about new and I'm trying something new.
No, I find myself turning more to...
Well, we turned your chair in a little bit so that you would be facing in. And I thought I would just, this is the news. This is your segment. I figured you know what I mean? Really give it to you.
Thanks. Yes, you've done that.
Mm-hmm. It's the you know what I mean? Like there's no show here. This is we're figuring it out, and they just have to watch it. Sorry.
This is how it goes, folks.
Well, yeah,
it's the truth.
Plus, if we're gonna get good at this, we need to keep doing this part and do the uncomfortable stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, that goes really well with my next story. Then
built-in segue maker. That's
what you do. You're really good at it. Anxiety causes your body to go into fight or flight mode. It triggers the limbic system of anxiety is stress is mental. It's just thoughts. And anxiety is when those thoughts trigger the limbic system of the brain, which is the hypothalamus, the original old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it triggers old parts of your body, which is why it's sometimes hard to figure out because it's not new and shiny like the Nintendo game. But anxiety heads up. That's what triggers body stuff. So
is this new?
I don't think it's new, but I think it's new that they're acknowledging
that just seems
like
to be and also in other news, water is wet today. Like that, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be against you. I'm saying against is this really what isn't that obvious?
I think
where else would fight or flight come from? Fear. Right?
Yes, but knowing how that works in the body is changing how people are looking at that.
Okay.
So it's because that allows it to expand of what actually scares you.
All sorts of stuff.
Right.
Yet nothing. Does that make sense?
Yes. And so everyone has different answers. So all of that triggers physical stuff. So they're trying to figure out where it's coming from. It's interesting to me that they're looking at it, acknowledging that it's a real thing now. So that's why I'm fascinated with that stuff. But
did I make you feel like you needed to explain why you were fascinated? Because I didn't seem fascinated enough. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't give you what you needed there.
This is
maybe you were expecting too much.
Maybe I should drop that shit.
No, it could be both. Maybe it was both. Maybe I didn't. I didn't emote enough.
Sometimes you're more involved in a concept than I realize, and so I say somebody that's the water's wet.
Oh,
because
yeah, sure.
you know so much about a certain topic.
Well, I didn't mean that so much. It's just what I got from that was studies show that anxiety triggers your fight or flight, and I didn't need a study for that. You know what I mean? Like it's things get hairy. Am I gonna or am I gonna?
Yeah. Some people don't always know what that is.
I think a lot of times people are stuck on words and not meaning, and people are stuck on details and not feeling. Does that make any sense? I'm sounding really hippy-dippy here, but it's kind of like, am I sounding too hippy-dippy?
No. I'm following you completely. I think you're right.
Well, then it really comes down to what kind of person are you? Are you open-minded or closed-minded? If you're closed-minded, you're probably not going to ever be open-minded. And if you're open-minded, there's really no way to be closed-minded.
Yes.
I mean, it's the age-old problem, right? I mean, it's politics, it's everything else.
Yes, but there's like a whole section of people, myself included. I think I'm ahead of it, thankfully. But like, certainly the conversations I've had recently show me that things that are obvious to me and you about anxiety and physical and whatever are not as obvious as I think they are.
To other people on the
right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So when
we've done a tremendous amount of work and research on the subject, that we tend to assume, doesn't everyone know this stuff? Because now we're so versed in it, right?
So
you know what that means? You need some new friends.
Yes, I do.
You've leveled up, Mrs. Ryan.
I've leveled up. So
I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that you need to be around people who are going to challenge you and stimulate you, and keep up with Mrs. Ryan.
Applications will be accepted.
There you go.
Feel free to comment below.
Love it.
And then
please do, by the way.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Why not? What do you lose?
Totally. I'm amazing to be friends with.
She can be.
I'm really smart.
That's true.
That's true. I don't know now if this is going to qualify because it's about do you know the role of body language that it plays when you...
No.
But you were so good at it. I was interested by this because there was a lot of body language facts that I was taught and that a lot of people were taught when we were kids, smile when you're on the phone, it'll make you sound happier. And a lot of that shit that we all went along with is to be polite, you do this. So a lot of this body language stuff gets confused with what's polite when you're talking to someone. Do you literally, it comes down to the angle with which you use your body when you talk to someone.
This again comes down to what are you supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. And I believe that if people do what they feel is right, people are afraid of what other people think. Everybody generally starts that way. If you're not, it's because you got over it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And even then, there's probably still a little bit of it, because even me, who doesn't really have that issue anymore, still every once in a while, I find myself why did you get caught up in that conversation? That was weird, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going too far down. I think it comes down to how much time do you want to spend on it?
I'm definitely curious now. Please continue.
No. I mean, I almost feel like we could do a show about the last two in a row. The last two or two of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all seems to be connected, and it comes down to what people are willing to learn and what people are willing to let go of, and
yeah.
The person who sits here before you, I don't know how to say this properly. That's how out of it I am. But if someone met me 5 years ago, it would not have been the guy who's sitting here before you. I was a mess. I thought I was put together, but I wasn't. I was just like everybody else on the street who's a mess, who thinks they're put together and they're not.
Yeah, totally.
I'm being 100% honest. I was still an older version of the fucked up kid who stole David Letterman's microphone and then returned the wrong one and never corrected it. You know what I mean? It was always different versions of that. One day, for us, it was life circumstances, it was time, it was illnesses, it was preparing to lose things. It was a whole bunch of things that gave us a reshuffle that when you are prepared to lose everything, including even your life, you see things differently, not necessarily because, you were given these powers. No, it has nothing to do with that. But you used to have a perspective, And now you have this other perspective. That's good and great. Some people start with this other perspective, but you've now had this other perspective. So in a weird way, you have both.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you didn't forget anything that you've ever learned, even though it was not anything that'll be applicable to you now. But in a weird way, you have two perspectives on the world and the universe, and that does inhibit you some magic powers. Because imagine you were looking at this coffee mug from here. I mean, it could just be it's a coffee mug, but I mean, it could not have a handle from there, looking at it on the thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Yeah, it could be a cylinder.
Exactly. All of a sudden, blah, blah, blah. But then if you look at it from another camera, oh, there it is. Somebody would fight me to the death that the earth is flat, same type of thing. Earth is flat. No, it's round. No, it's flat. Well, these are perspectives. So once you have two, by the way, you can then take that and sort of multiply them out and matrix a bunch of them because you have now two. It's kind of the same way I used to draw things. And I'd draw them from all these different angles. So I knew them so well, even though I'd never touched them or never
You knew everything about them.
Mm-hmm. And then one day.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, I could go on, and I don't think that anybody will follow any of that because I'm not. I picked from so many different places that I don't think I actually strung anything together.
I don't think so, but I did follow you, and it is all connected.
Really?
I think what you were kind of getting down to, and that like you know so much about the body now, and like what triggers things sometimes.
As above, so below. The universe.
Okay.
Think about it that way. The universe, the universe, the earth, the body, the cell, the atom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's all like those things that.
What do you know about the sky?
Yeah.
Then you know about your body.
Yeah.
What do you know about your body? Then you know it about the sky, etc., etc.
I think similarly in like you can apply different concepts to different things.
100%.
So reading some of the news is like I see the different layers of concepts that were given to me at one point or another, and then I'm unwinding because it's not current. It doesn't matter anymore.
That you're not unwinding?
That I know the concepts that I'm unwinding
That
no
you are
longer
unwinding.
matter.
Oh, I see. So it's more like you're peeling clothes off
Yeah.
and just leaving them behind.
Yeah.
Woo-woo.
Spring break.
Forgive me. I'd prefer that analogy. What's this, onions?
So that might be it. But like this body language thing, like.
Well, what does this body language do then? Because I had changed it right before you brought on body language. Here, by the way, all of that was to say that if you're aware of all the things, you can broadcast your body language because you're broadcasting how you're feeling. I believe your body language is showing how you're feeling.
Yes. And
if you change how you're feeling, then your body language changes. So therefore, you can change your body language.
Which is yes, I agree with you. My point, I guess, is that I was taught, and I'm not alone, but I'm going to say me, but like I was taught so many ways how to be. And like one of my early on in my professional career, I was taught like be a chameleon, like that's better for you. So some of this is true, and like the body language stuff is really true. Except now, like I don't work right, so like my body language is all over the place, and I don't mean to be.
This is what I believe is what happened to you, though. You also listened.
Yeah.
You had too many people telling you too many different things you needed to do, and you listened to all of them. And then you found a career that was exactly the same.
Yeah, sad but true.
No, yeah, and I don't mean any disrespect by it, but this is me being able to see the patterns. I don't know how anybody could function forever in that atmosphere.
I think
something has to give at some point.
Yeah, it does, and I'm just coming back. Like, it's just trying to figure out how to come back. Like, there's no switch I can hit to be like, go back that way.
There is. But that's kind of what I was getting at. What are you willing to unlearn? What are you willing to are you willing to unlisten, like purge all of that crap that everybody ever told you and willing to listen to whatever you believe inside you? This sounds like this is going to turn into either an after school special or like a Sunday morning religious. Okay, Davey. Remember the David and Goliath, the claymation?
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally true though, and it's exactly what I talked about this morning, and that's really all what it comes down to, I think.
Oh, that's why you were amped up earlier. I forgot. I'm amped up now. You had gone to coffee earlier.
Yes, and we talked about a lot of that stuff, so I think it was top of mind that you really do have to be willing to unravel all of it. You can't just pick. And I think my thing was that at first I thought I could just pick and choose and do some, and no, you have to get rid of everything.
I wish you could just pick and choose some.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to just pick the best moments of your life and pick those and move on. But
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. You got to reconcile all the bad shit you ever did, or the stupid thing you ever said, or the fucking dumb kid thing you did and you never got in trouble for, or whatever the heck. All that stuff has to go someplace.
Yeah, that's where I got.
Other people go to therapy. Like, you know what I mean? Like regular people work that stuff out in therapy. I personally found a different way.
Yeah, and I like it a lot better. It's a lot harder on the psyche to really let your guard down that hard. And you have to be around someone that you trust and that you're willing to do that in front of. And
so funny. I was just going to say vulnerability is a huge element. Letting go to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah, and I find
it's like asking for help. It's just if you're not programmed to do it, it's very hard for some people.
Yeah. I'm one of those people, and I apparently know a lot of those people, so don't let the anxiety become physical, because that's what anxiety is. It's the stress becoming physical, so don't let it overwhelm you.
So what do? You identify it, right?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's the first and only
physical
real
component.
thing.
Is there a physical component? Does that help you identify it? Like you feel it somewhere first. Some people feel heat or tensing up. Or
it does for me. My body gets very tight, and I feel like for other people it happens on a much smaller scale. Like something will bother them, they'll get a headache, or their arm will hurt, or I think that's how it starts. I know it's how it started for me, but
one weird wonky thing at a time.
Mm-hmm. But really, all it always comes down to, with every conversation I ever have with anyone, and thankfully for you, with me at least, it's like, what really is bothering you about that?
It's never the thing.
It's never the thing. So a lot of people stop at the symptom because it's
everybody. That's what they're
obvious
looking at.
And whatever.
That's where the flashlight, the magnet, is stuck there.
Yeah. So go deeper and figure out what's causing you such pain, and it could be something so simple that
isn't it usually?
It's usually something so simple that sounds so stupid, and so people that
it's not that
they literally are like, and then they whisper like what I'm like. You have to acknowledge whatever it is. Like you have to, because if you don't, you're still lying and you're just adding another negative energy bubble in there that useless.
Yeah. Well, good for that. No more negative energy bubbles.
0.
I'm serious. People don't know the old you. I hope someday we can find some, do a Mrs. Ryan retro show or something with old photos and old video or something. I mean, people don't really know who you used to. I mean, they know what you've done, so they know you've certainly accomplished, some things, and they know you're impressive, Mrs. Ryan. Everyone knows you're impressive. Everyone knows you're kind of a big deal. But they don't know that your personality used to be quite different as well.
Yeah.
So that's it's interesting.
It's super interesting, and there was a better one before you that you don't even know yet. So I'm excited to find pieces of that are still in there.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we go.
Look, if you know they're in there and they're parts that you like, then they're totally accessible.
Yeah. You gotta bring it back.
Also, by the way, everyone else loves you. They tolerate me. Everyone knows this. Ask anybody. They're not. Yep, that's true. Anyone. They're all saying it right now. I guarantee it. It's true.
That's all my news.
Every time I had to go talk to Bruce to move a car or whatever the other day, he's like, "Where's Nicole? Where's Nicole? Where's Nicole?" Anytime you weren't at my side. So it's pretty cute and funny. Super nice. Anything else, Mrs. Wright?
That's it. That's all I have for the news.
Well, let's see. It's been it's been longer than I thought. Yeah, it's been 37 minutes.
Whoa. I
know. And it just occurred to me that's the second half of that. So, because we had to. So we should really wrap it up.
Time
Mrs.
to
Ryan.
go.
I was going to do a studio tour today, and I think we'll just do that another day.
Okay.
But I think we got rid of a lot, but whatever. I think we
covered a lot.
moved a lot of merchandise today. Got that out of
Got
here.
to say hello to a lot of people. Jeez Louise.
And Dwight Carpe gear, of course, and I wore my Telefunken gear to the party the other day as well, which, of course, then facilitated some conversations, which was nice.
I almost had that sweatshirt on, so I need to get another one. But because I didn't want to copy it.
What do you mean?
The Telefunken sweatshirt the other day, I almost had.
So you need to get another one?
A different kind. I love talking about it, but I didn't want to copy you visually.
Okay. I don't know what we're saying now.
I want a new sweatshirt.
No, I know, but you said then you need to get another one.
I heard it.
Tons.
I heard it. It did not make sense.
But that's what I'm hung up on. We don't need another one. See,
don't
here's the
need
thing.
it.
We have a deal with these people. So when we say we want something, then they send it to us.
Oh, that's not what I mean. I'm
we're
so
not-
sorry. You're right. That's not what I'm saying. Jeez. Oh, Nicole.
So I want to be very clear that we're loving
We're
all the
good.
things that they have sent us and that we're not saying more.
Oh, Nicole. This is when I get quiet on these amazing episodes.
This is the magic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With that, though, tomorrow, Mrs. Ryan, we've got Rob. Is it DeRoca or DeRocha? Do you know?
I do not know.
I think it's Rob DeRoca, stand-up comedian from our good friend Richard Chasler. A nice comedy booking. But we're going to shift a little more car-centric, so we're going to find out at least, what cars he's driven and stuff like that, and
Cool.
what cars he likes, et cetera, et cetera. And then the last, we got very lucky last time that happened because the guy had happened to have, I've owned 30 Porsches, and half of them are really rare, collectible, and
That was incredible.
probably the only guy to total a GT2 on the street.
Mark Brazil, my new favorite human.
So funny, Mark Brazil. Yeah. And then did you notice that the break music for that, now we're really going on. Did you notice the break music for that show was I played that 70s show theme, but it was the real theme that was based on. Yeah. Blah, blah,
It's
blah.
very cool.
I guess this stuff can happen off the air. All right. I love everybody. I love you, Mrs. Ryan.
Love you too.
Love everybody at home.
Love you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow with Rob DeRoca. We're back to that. Have a great night.